Wednesday evening. It's October 25th, 2023. I want to welcome everybody back to LTL Podcast. Thank you all for being here this evening. Tonight, we're going to get back and visit an old friend here on the channel, Bryan Kohberger. We're going to talk about that. I have tomorrow off, so I will be streaming while the hearing is taking place. I know that we probably won't have video live, but we'll stream that video afterwards. But while the hearing is ongoing, I will be updating the commentary through Twitter and tweets. There's a lot of media that's going to be there. I know JLR is going to be down there as well. So maybe we can get in and see what type of activity that he's seeing or doing down there. It's going to be pretty interesting. You know, this tomorrow's hearing is just going to be nuts with this whole trying to dismiss the indictment. So we'll get a little bit into that here in the show. I want to welcome everybody back into the live show. I see a lot of familiar names here. Thank you for being here this evening. But before we get into the show, I just want to talk a little bit about Chelsea Grimm. Now, I realize that this is starting to trend on YouTube and on Twitter. And I just want to put something out there and clear up some of the misinformation and misconceptions that are going on. I feel a very personal connection to this case, as I've been privileged to be in a chat with a lot of Chelsea's close friends. They trust me enough and have given me ultimate trust to be in that group. So I see a lot of shared information in there. There's a lot of things that I can't talk about, but there's some things that I'm allowed to say. And I just want to make sure that this is clear, because I'm seeing a lot of people on YouTube now jumping all over this. And look, you know, I was really one of the first ones that started talking about this about 8 or 9 days ago. I mean, you can go back and check the dates on my stream. Unfortunately, my channel doesn't get the reach that some of these larger channels get. That's just the downside to my channel right now. It's very frustrating. I've talked about this a lot, but I just want to make sure that we clear up a lot of the rumors and a lot of the misconceptions, because I'm getting angry now because of all the hard work I've put into it and the trust that I've been given through her friends to talk about this. They're upset. You know, they are upset. And, you know, I knew this type of stuff would start happening because it's the, you know, quote unquote, and I don't want to be rude here, but it's the nice, fresh new thing to talk about now, you know, and everybody's jumping all over it because everybody's trying to be first on everything. And believe me, I respect some of the creators that are talking about this, but I'm not going to respect the people that are just jumping in to profit off of this and start putting a lot of vicious rumors out there. I can clear up any misconceptions on this channel. I'm going to tell you right now, I have firsthand access to backroom chats that are going on. I can tell you straight, and I will put straight information out there. Okay. So the first thing that I want to put out is there's been some talk about the woodcutter. Now, SF Investigates reports that the woodcutter never saw Chelsea. He only saw her car that was going in and then coming out. He only saw her car. So let's get that rumor settled, done, and out of the way. Okay. The other thing that I want to let everybody in on this, and it's just getting very frustrating now because this is circulating around as well too. This is not a hoax. Okay. I want to get that out there as well. This is not a hoax. And Chelsea's friends are taking this very serious, and it's hurting them that this rumor is being put out there. This is not a hoax. So I want that shit to stop. And I'm looking at the camera right now. You creators, you know who you are. Be sensitive to this case, please, because you're hurting a lot of people putting this information out there. It is not true. This is not a hoax. This is very serious. Chelsea is missing, and we need to find her and bring her home. Okay? So stop with that shit. I'm going to tell you right now. If you need to clear anything up, email me. Let's talk live podcast at gmail.com. I will clear anything up for you. Tweet at me, Instagram me, anything. But let's stop with the hoax rumor, because these are people that haven't been around in a while, and now they're going to start popping up because they have a large channel and they're going to start going on streams for 7, 8, 10 hours a day and start putting all this shit out there that this is a hoax. It's wrong. Okay. Don't believe any of it. I'm talking to very close friends. I see so much information that's going on. Okay. I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know what's going on in the investigation. And like I said, I am only privy to share what I can share. Okay. So I want to clear all of that up because that is starting to float around now. I'm seeing tiles out there. I'm seeing thumbnails out there that says hoax. Is it a hoax? It's in their title. It's not a hoax. It's fucking clickbait. Stop. Okay. The other thing that I want everybody to know that happened today as well is that PJ has been released. That is Chelsea's ex-boyfriend. So he has been released. We got the message through Vine. And that's it. He was questioned and ultimately released. And that is unrelated to anything that's going on with Chelsea as far as we know right now. So I just want to get that out there as well, too. So you all know. It's clear. The air is clear now. If anybody needs any information, clear it up, email me. But don't go on here and put a bunch of clickbait out there right now because you don't know. You are like a week behind. I've been on this for like 8, 9 days. And now you're just starting because it's starting to trend now. And now you want to jump in and start saying all this stuff. We've cleared everything up. We have set it straight here on LTL Podcast. I can tell you right now. I have it clear. My story is clear. The investigation is clear. We know what's going on. So don't believe what's being put out there about hoaxes and this is fake and she's hiding somewhere. We don't know. The answer is we don't know. We don't know where Chelsea is right now, but we will find out and we will bring her home. So, first of all, like I said, I want to get that out of the way because I was very irritated today seeing a lot of stuff here popping up on YouTube. And this is, unfortunately, this is what gives true crime a bad name. And sometimes it makes me kind of sick that, I am considered, part of this group and people don't like us. And this is the reason people don't like us, because a lot of people put out false information, especially in the case that we deal with, that we have talked, hours and hours about the Bryan Kohberger case, about all the information that's been put out there about the witnesses, the people in the house, their families, all of the negative shit that's been put out there. So stop, lead with your heart. I've said this before. Don't put anything out there that you would not feel righteous about laying your head on your pillow when you go to bed. Listen, maybe I'm a little bit more honest and I have more heart in this stuff. I don't do clickbait titles. I don't put shit out there. That's bullshit. And like I said, I feel very connected to this because, I have privilege to be in a group and it's fine. I can share that. And I've been allowed to say that. But there is a lot of stuff going on. The bottom line is this. We still don't know where Chelsea is, and we're trying. We're working on it. And I commend her friends. They feverishly talk about this night and day. I mean, into the early hours of the morning, a.m. They want to bring her home. And they're doing a hell of a job behind the scenes. And if I could hire them as my team, they're amazing. They're amazing people and very kind and just great people. I mostly, like I've said, I just sit back and observe and I'll interject when I feel like it's, a good time for me to jump in there. So, again, I can't stop any creators from doing what they do. That's their shtick. I respect some of the people that are talking about this. I don't care for some of the people that are talking about this, but please be very sensitive to this case. There's a lot of people that care about Chelsea, and you have to look at it in this sense. If this was someone that was in your family that was missing or got hurt, just be careful. Please don't put a lot of false information out there because you don't know. We have been on this for over a week now, and you're just jumping in now. So please be careful. If you have any questions, email me. If I can answer it, I will. And I will verify it in the chat group with Chelsea's friends if I can talk about it. So Thank you for listening to that. I wanted to clear that up and get that out of the way because, like I said, my channel doesn't get the reach of some of these other channels, and I just want to make sure we get this out there on the record and just make sure that this doesn't go wild. So, okay. Let's move on with our show. I know that I've just missed a lot of chat. I apologize. Um, I'm not going to be able to go back and read, but I do want to recognize, Ollie in the room here has, gifted 10 memberships. I appreciate that. And I think I saw a super sticker too. Let me just get back to that. So Mandy with a 199. Thank you so much, Mandy. I appreciate that. And Ollie with the 10 gifted. It's nice that they actually allow us to pull that up because I know in the past we weren't. And it's very nice to see you, Ollie. I appreciate it for being in here and checking out the stream. I'm like rattled today. I mean, I was talking to Carrie about it earlier today on my break, and it just really shook me up and it rattled me. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen, that people were going to jump on this and start interjecting a lot of falsehoods in it. And, there's stuff that's like being put out right now that has been talked and looked over like a week ago. So where were you a week ago? Where were you a week ago? But please, 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 there's a lot of people, again, and I know I'm going on about this. It's a lot of people that care about Chelsea. Please don't put false information out there. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. So thank you. I see all the yellow hearts in here. That's been something that we have started here on this channel in support of Chelsea. We want to bring her home. Again, I'm still feeling a very personal connection to this. We want to find her and bring her home. So thank you all so much. All right, let's get into our show. Well, we're going to talk about our old friend, Bryan Kohberger. I know it's been a while here. You're probably all excited because I haven't talked about it. I just haven't felt like there's been a lot of new information to be shared in this case. But tomorrow is a big day. Bryan Kohberger will be in court with his defense team and Ann Taylor, and they're going to try to dismiss this indictment. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. But it would be very interesting if it did. But we also know what can happen as well. There could be a re-indictment. But I have a little presentation here for you all. We'll get through that, and then we'll do the after show and hang out. We can kind of let our hair down. Not my hair, but we can let our hair down a little bit and just talk a little bit more. It's nice to see a lot of new names here in the chat. I appreciate you all coming over here. We're at 55 likes right now. I'd love to get this stream up to 100 likes tonight. To get this stream out there into the algorithm, because it would be sweet, and to keep pushing this through. So let's talk about this. I have, first up, there's an article that came over from The Sun, and it talked about this aunt, this anonymous aunt. And I did do a video on this a couple of days ago. I'm not going to read too much into this, but I thought it was pretty interesting to bring up, obviously, to talk about, because it is probably one of the newest pieces of information that we've heard, or not anything really relative to the case, but just gives a more of like a character witness type of thing. And again, it's someone that's not completely verified, so we have to take it on, on the tip, I guess, about that. So we'll make our determination here. But the Sun tracked down Kohberger's relative and spoke with multiple sources in Las Vegas, where a majority of Kohberger's family on his father Michael's side now resides. And we'll go down here into the article, and it says they migrated over to California and then to Nevada from the East Coast many years ago, while Michael and his wife Marianne and their 3 children remained in Pennsylvania. Kohberger's Las Vegas relatives described the case as surreal, with many trying to distance themselves from what has become one of the biggest murder cases in recent years. Some claimed, although the 28-year-old was an odd character and very reclusive growing up, he never showed any signs of violence, and many were left stunned when he was named as a suspect. I want to go down here. The suspect allegedly broke into their home. This is talking about the incident. I just want to get into some of the quotes here. His aunt, who asked to remain anonymous, told The Sun that she has been struggling to watch the news as more details from the fateful night emerge. When I saw it on TV, I was just lost for words, speechless, she said, appearing visibly upset. It's heartbreaking, and I'm a very caring person. And when I saw the news, a little bit today in the living room. I couldn't take it hearing about them being knifed. I had goosebumps and I cried. Let's see here. Ollie, thank you for the 10. I appreciate that. Let me just get that up there. Thank you again for the other 10. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you for your kindness and your gesture. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll go on here. Sample. I just want to get to more of the quotes, which is his aunt says that she may not watch the trial if the cameras are allowed in the courtroom, but wants to know the answers to so many questions surrounding the murders. Asked if she thinks her nephew would be found guilty, she replied, "I think so. I just want the truth. I would like to see him or write to him and find out what happened." She says her heart goes out to the victims' families, but also feels Kohberger is not well and had battled for years with mental health problems. Kohberger was pictured wearing a suicide protection vest while in the Monroe County Correctional Facility following the initial arrest in December of last year. Question on how she feels he will cope if he gets behind his life behind bars. And her aunt shook her head and replied, "I think he may try to kill himself." It's pretty crazy. It's pretty insane that she'd be saying stuff like this. So it goes on, it says, Kohberger has always maintained his innocence, and sources previous told News Nation that his former criminology student remains confident that he's going to be exonerated. When the charges were read out in court, his attorney said, "Your Honor, we are standing silent and the judge will enter a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf, which often occurs in criminal cases. Here's the odd behavior." Says he will likely do the same plea. Let's see, I want to go into here. His aunt explained that there had been a lot of drama in the family, which could not be revealed for legal reasons. Even before her nephew's arrest, she said she had not spoken to his parents, but she only told that they are devastated and their words turned upside down. And she was initially advised by other relatives to stay silent about her nephew. They're Christians, very religious. Having flown her nephew and his family over to Las Vegas on a handful of occasions when they were younger, she described him as a shy and troubled teenager. Shy and troubled. She claims that she was aware of him suffering depressive episodes and had been told he was on medication, although she is not sure what was prescribed by doctors. To me, he was humbled and quiet. I don't see any violence in him, she said. But if you're not on the right medication, you can be triggered. I think he may have snapped. I don't have an answer for why he was depressed. I guaranteed he had a wonderful childhood. Michael, his dad, is a wonderful man. He was a janitor and his wife is a beautiful woman. She was a teacher and they worked at the same school. I mean, you're getting this kind of like bipolar mental state. You know, even the way that she's describing him, depressive episodes, but she didn't see him. He was violent. You know, he could have snapped. He was depressed. He had a good childhood. Yeah, right. Is the aunt bipolar? That's kind of like what we're hearing here, right? I mean, that's what I was just saying. I'm like, what is her answers? Is she bipolar? Excuse me. So it goes on to drug taking. I flew Bryan and his family out here a few times. Once I told Bryan it would show him around Las Vegas. But the odd thing was he just stayed in the house. She says the suspect was taking drugs at the time, as it was previously reported, because he became a big heroin addict. So, wow, we're seeing this for the first time. Well, I mean, we know that he struggled, but this is someone that's coming out and just saying, hey, like he had a heroin addiction after falling in with the wrong crowd. His aunt says it was no big secret that he was into the drug scene, and she was concerned he was going also doing cocaine, mushrooms, drinking hard liquor, and popping pills. Holy shit, that's a cocktail to deal with the mental health issues. She hoped he had gotten clean and believed that he had an interest in criminology, as others in the family studied forensics, and some of his uncles have a military background. Wow, that's news to me. Former friends have previously spoken out to the alleged and sought to be the alpha among the pals after struggling with his weight during his younger years. He later reported, they got into kickboxing and became a vegan, while his friends claimed that he became more aggressive as he got into shape. His aunt says she hadn't seen her nephew in more than 5 years before his arrest. She'd been left shaken by the details and emerged since the feels for his immediate family. Kohberger's parents, his two sisters, Amanda and Alyssa, have shown support for him and believe he is innocent as they are cooperating with law enforcement. But that wasn't what was reported before. Remember, when this was all going on out in Pennsylvania, didn't one of his sisters go out to his car to look around in his car to see if she could find anything? Remember that report that came out? They were last seen arriving in court and their faces covered during a January hearing, as a woman believed to be one of the sisters confirmed the mother. Let's see here. See if we have any more quotes. That's it. So I just wanted to kind of pull that up. I know that had came out and some interesting quotes in there. And I know people were talking about that. So, but I mean, I remember hearing some reports in Pennsylvania. I think it was on the one of the 48 Hours episodes. Didn't they say that she went out to his car and started looking around, one of his sisters? I mean, I could be wrong because there's been so many, mini docus and series about this already. Speculation, articles. I mean, it's a hot case. It's a hot case. All right, let's move on here. What I wanted to do, we haven't done yet, and I always said this, I want to do kind of like DM says no, it was Dateline. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, something was brought up. Thank you for clearing that up, DM. I knew it was one of them. It was either Dateline or 48 Hours. I mean, there's been so many programs out there about this. Dina saying it was Dateline. It was Dateline. Thank you. So what I wanted to do was compare a side-by-side, and I've been saying this for a long time and wanting to do this, a side-by-side of Bryan Kohberger at his first hearing when he gets read his formal charges. I want to bring that up so we can all hear that. And then I'm going to show his last hearing, and I want you to see. I was like visually like, whoa, the visual change of his body and his face, how much he's changed in just a year. In just a year, actually under a year, coming up on the year. Look how he has visually changed since then. All right, let me bring this up. We're going to play the first video, his hearing video, his first formal charges. First time in a Moscow court. Let's play that. See him here now. Look at him now. Look how young he looks here. He's so young looking. And then wait until we get to the most recent video of Bryan Kohberger. It is astounding how much he's changed.
Here on the record in the 2nd Judicial District, Latah County. This is the Magistrates Division of District Court. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, cause number CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is present in court. He is in custody. He is appearing with his attorney, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for initial appearance. Mr. Kohberger, I am going to advise you of the rights that you have in this case. I am going to go over the criminal complaint with you, and then we're going to discuss setting the matter for further hearing. You have the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. That means the state bears the burden to prove that you are guilty of this offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. At that hearing, the state must establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. You have a right to have that hearing within 14 days if you remain in custody. If you are bound over at that preliminary hearing to district court, if the court finds probable cause, you would be bound over to district court. And at that time, you can enter a plea of not guilty, and you can have a jury trial set within 6 months of your appearance in district court. At both your preliminary hearing and your jury trial, You have the right to confront and question any evidence or witnesses called against you. Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial need. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you. Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder, in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002.
Oh, I'm going to address this tonight too. I'm going to address this tonight, believe me, because I'm going to put it right on the record for you. And you know, the funny thing is, I'm actually, you know what? We'll wait. We'll get through this, and then we're going to get into that piece too, because I've been hearing a lot about this. I've been hearing a lot about this lately, and I think you're going to be surprised what I come up with, because it was said in court. It was said on the record, and it was actually said on the record by the defense. So just keep that in mind, because I still see this floating around. I'm going to pop this up here too. Mandy with the 99. Thank you so much, Mandy. I appreciate your support. Oh, man. Did I mess that up? I put innocent. I screwed that up. Whoops. I'll do a new poll.
4003 and 4004. The maximum penalty
Sorry.
for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is
I wasn't
death
paying
or
attention.
imprisonment
I was
for
watching the
life.
video.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony
We're gonna have
offense
some
of
fun,
murder in
right?
the first
It was a
degree.
trickery.
It alleges that the
It was
defendant,
trickery.
Bryan
I was
C.
tricking
Kohberger,
y'all.
on or about
All right.
November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully,
Okay, I got a
deliberately,
new
with
poll up.
premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder
I fixed it.
Kaylee Gonsalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Gonsalves, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Kohberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Taylor, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Kohberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter?
Your Honor, I have, we would ask the court to set the status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine, State Your Honor.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent, and then Ms. Taylor.
All right, so I just want everybody to get a good look at him again. So this was at his first hearing. This was back in January 5th, 2023. All right. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. Obviously, I just wanted to get some refresh here. Now I'm going to take you to the most current hearing that he had. This is incredible how much he's changed in a year. You ready? I know you're all going to go, wow. Right when he turns out of the door, watch. He looks like he aged 20 years. I mean, this is the most played part of the video. Look, people are like, oh my God. I'm sure this is what everybody has looked at. Oh my God. Look how much he's aged and the weight. You know, he's put weight on. I get that. But he looks like he's 20 years older. Unbelievable, the change in a year when it's done. I think he looks skinnier and taller, but he's definitely put weight on and he's definitely aged. Let's get to, I mean, he looks like an old man.
Has anybody pressured you to waive your speedy trial rights?
No.
Thanks for the $5, Terry. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Everybody's saying he looks worn.
Sure you want to do this?
Crap food,
Absolutely.
no sunlight. Got to be
You agree
hard.
with this, Ms. Taylor?
He looks good
Your Honor, I
being
do
in
agree
jail.
with this. I
Looks cocky
do
walking in the
not believe
courtroom.
this would be effective.
His clothes are way too baggy. Looks better in an orange suit. Danielle's told him crap.
Our investigation is not complete.
Looks like a man.
Our work with experts is not complete. We haven't completed our review of the state's evidence.
Looks like he's been around the block a few times. Let's just say this. I hope for the sake of God that there's better audio tomorrow because the audio during these hearings have been terrible. And I've been trying to go on after and like clean up the audio. It's so annoying. I hope that they have a damn better microphone in the courtroom tomorrow so we can freaking hear what's going on. Holy smokes. Holy schmolies. Terry, thank you for gifting the one membership. I appreciate that, Terry. Thank you. Oh my God. Rogue says, I think they do it on purpose. No, because every other case we've ever watched is like almost perfect freaking audio. What the hell, man? Oh my God. It's so annoying. Oh God. Yeah, I know. Now KT makes a great point. Now that the creators have gained because the access pool, hopefully they'll improve it. Hopefully. Geez. Holy schmolies. Yeah, let me see if I can get some. They won't allow the zoom in anymore, but see if we can watch them walk out. I don't know if they're gonna show them walking out.
That before.
They vacate the scheduling order. Let's
I don't think.
do on the first, and then.
Well, let's go back to that beginning again. Here's the beginning. Ready? Wow, he has changed. Incredible. Incredible. All right, let's do this. I'm going to get into my presentation tonight. I know, and you all know, that when I do a screen presentation, I'm not going to be able to see the chat. So I'm going to probably ramble for a little bit here. But I want to just talk about tomorrow. You know, what are we looking at tomorrow here? Let's pull this up. So tomorrow we have, let's just do this. So tomorrow is an order to vacate and reset defense motions. It's going to be the state of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger and the court. The court having before its stipulated motion to vacate and reset defendant's motions and good cause appearing now. Therefore, it is hereby ordered that the defendant's motion hearing currently set for September 22nd, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. shall be vacated. It is further ordered that the defendant's motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct in withholding exculpatory evidence shall be reset for October 26, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. and shall be closed hearing pursuant to IRC-63C and IRCA 32. It is further ordered that the defendant's motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of error in grand jury instructions or in the alternative remand of preliminary hearing shall be reset for October 26, 2023 at 1 p.m. and shall be open to the public. And that is specific. I always say specific. Pacific time tomorrow. So that is later in the afternoon here if you're on the East Coast. So order at 9:23 at 4:44 and 34 seconds p.m. It would be crazy if it was 4444 all the way across. But that's what we're looking at tomorrow. That's what Bryan Kohberger and Ann Taylor want to do. They want to dismiss this indictment. And you may ask, why would they want to do that? Well, they want to get back to a preliminary hearing. I mean, well, essentially, they want to get their defendant dismissed. They want him to walk. That's their job to do that. But let's just say the indictment does get dismissed tomorrow. And I would probably, my mouth would drop to the ground because I just don't think that's going to happen. But why would they want to do that? They want it to essentially, if they re-indict, which they have enough sufficient evidence to do that, I'm pretty sure on that, pretty confident on that, this would reset the whole proceedings. They would go back into a preliminary hearing, and that's essentially what they would want if he was re-indicted, because it will give discovery to the defense and essentially give them more things that they could look at in this case to help aid them. So let's look at some of the tactics that Ann Taylor and Bryan Kohberger and Ann Taylor have put together so far. You know, things that they've tried to do to kind of slow this case down. Let's see. You go into this case. Oops. Let me go to page 2. Page 2. All right. Let me just back this up a little bit. So we're looking. Bryan Kohberger's defense. They have attacked the DNA process that led to Bryan, the genealogist hearing. They said that, and I'm going to get this to go down. Why is this zooming in? Don't zoom in. They said their client was just driving around on long nights on the night of the murders, just long drives, and they made that quote, long drives alone at night. They waived the speedy trial, citing unpreparedness as the reason. They've challenged the death penalty. They've had legal motions to seek dismissal of the indictment. They fought the cameras in the courtroom. They have filed motion for a 30-day stay, and that it got the extension. They've challenged the grand jury proceedings. I mean, every single thing they've done here to try to get this thing dismissed and over with and done. They've challenged the investigation of the officers' training records. We saw the big hearing on that. They've challenged the FBI process that led to get Bryan's car information. They cited motions that went back to case law. That should be a case. Case law to 100 years ago. I mean, they're pulling all stops out, going back 100 years. They cited motions that went back to case law 100 years ago. They challenged the cast information. They challenged discovery. Even the judge and Ann Taylor herself said the state wasn't hiding anything. I'm going to play videos tonight with Ann Taylor on the record saying that she doesn't think the state is hiding anything. You all need to stop commenting with that. The state's hiding everything. The state's doing this. They're hiding everything. They're doing this. Everything is in court. It's on the record. They're not hiding anything. So stop with that rumor. Even Ann Taylor herself said that they weren't hiding anything. Challenged that not all the evidence was not turned over. That is false. Cited motions that went back. I don't know why I'm stuck in this slide here. And then the FBI claimed that the FBI harassed their DNA expert, Gabriela Vargas. You remember her. She was on TNT. Well, the FBI went over and spoke to her because she was making comments on a public forum, I believe in a Facebook group, talking about this case. So what would this all do? Bryan Kohberger defense. If the indictment is waived, the state will re-indict based on the evidence. I'm very confident about that. And what would be the result of that? Just like I said, it resets the clock on the proceedings and get back to a preliminary hearing, which the defense wants. What the defense wants. So what I want to play here, well, I mean, ultimately they want him to walk, but if it was a re-indictment, that's what they want. They want to go back to that preliminary hearing. Okay, let me pull up this video here. This is Ann Taylor on the record saying, and I believe me, I think there's more. I just couldn't find it because I would have had to sit through hours and hours of video scrubbing. But you're going to hear it here. Ann Taylor on the record in court says that she doesn't feel that the state is hiding anything. She's not saying that. Hang on a second. Let me just close this down. Let me just pull this back up. And I know it's going to be hard to hear, but let's see.
The court's read the probable cause affidavit that led to Mr. Kohberger's arrest, and the court can see that this vehicle identification was heavily relied on by the state to arrest Mr. Kohberger, as well as to obtain a lot of other search warrants. This is information that is very necessary for us to prepare our case. I don't think Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings are withholding anything.
Bam! There it is right there. Bam! Did you hear it? Do I need to rewind it? Can we settle this now? Because I'm getting tired of hearing it. Oh, the state's hiding everything. You know, they're not giving up all the evidence. They're hiding everything. We're in an open court. I think they've been pretty honest. And I think this judge is smart enough to say if there was any shit going on, he would get it out there on the record. Let's rewind it and listen again. Make this clear tonight.
Heavily relied on by the state to arrest Mr. Kohberger, as well as to obtain a lot of other search warrants. This is information that is very necessary for us to prepare our case. I don't think Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings are withholding anything. I think.
And I'm going to continue to play it. I'm going to play it again so you all can get this. We'll do it 3 times because usually it takes 3 times for this stuff to stick. Let me go back again, and then I'm just going to play it through now because you're going to get the response from the state as well too.
well as to obtain a lot of other search warrants. This is information that is very necessary for us to prepare our case. I don't think Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings are withholding anything. I think they don't have it, but I think we need a court order with a deadline so that we can get that. As the court is aware, the state has a duty to provide discovery to the defense. As the court is aware that not producing this.
Let me just pause this really quick. I'm going to rewind it because now it's coming up a lot. I just want to let everybody know, if you are in the Lewiston, Maine area, there is an active shooter right now, possibly 5 dead. I'm just seeing this come up in the chat as well. And I just got a text from one of my mods. So if you are in the Lewiston, Maine area, please be careful. Active shooter situation. I'm not going to break from this program because I have this planned out. Maybe if this is still an active situation, we'll address it in the after show. But I do want to get through this presentation. So just a warning out there. If you are in the Lewiston, Maine area, active shooter situation, I don't know too much right now. Bella is saying that is a very serious, situation with 60 injuries. Wow. Young guy with an AR-15. Okay. Maybe we'll get through this really quick. And if I can get any news in the after show, the members only, I'll open this up to the public and we'll try to get some coverage on this. But please, if you are in that area, please be safe. Please be safe. I just want to call that out. I'm going to rewind this a little bit and we're going to play through this. I will continue to monitor the situation. If anybody has any news, please drop it in the chat. We would like to hear the most latest news. Okay, here we go.
As the court is aware, the state has a duty to provide discovery to the defense. As the court is aware that not producing discovery, especially when it's material, can be a due process violation. And as the court is aware, the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death against Mr. Kohberger. These are critical, relevant materials, all of them, including the police training records. They're necessary for us to prepare and present our defense of Mr. Kohberger. They're necessary for us to do our investigation. They're necessary for us to prepare our case and our motion practice moving forward. These are things that we need to have. There is a heightened standard now that the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death, and these are very relevant, critical bits of information. They are discoverable, and we're asking the court to order that they be supplied to us.
Mr. Thompson or Ms. Jennings? Ms. Jennings.
So Ms. Taylor's correct. She has everything that the state has in our possession. And we have worked diligently and consistently in getting her all the information that we have in a quick fashion. To date, we have discovered approximately about 13,000 pages of reports, 13,000 photographs, over 10,000 tips, and over 51 terabytes of audio and video information. So we are down to just a few points of disagreement.
Sorry, my.
Oh, is it okay if I say?
Yes, yeah, that's fine, thank you.
First, with regard to item number 6 on the defendant's first motion to compel discovery. This involves training records of a couple of officers. Again, these are officers who the state would argue are not material to the case. They've interviewed other witnesses. They wouldn't even be called by the state to testify at trial. And the state objects to this because training records of specified officers aren't included within Rule 16. And they haven't proffered any reason as to why this would be needed for the preparation of their case. Again, these are investigators who have gone out and just interviewed some witnesses within the case. So we'd ask that you rule that this is outside Rule 16. And I would just remind the court that several hundred investigators have been involved in this case. Our concern with allowing training records for these few, which we can't understand why there's a substantial need for these particular ones, wouldn't open the door to us then having to go and obtain training records for these hundreds of investigating officers who've been involved, some of which are outside of our control. Moving on to the second motion to compel. As to item number 1, regarding cast information. Ms. Taylor has everything that we have. I've also, that includes reports from MPD officers. What she is seeking is a specific report from the FBI cast team, which I have indicated to her is in its final stages of review. And we are anticipating receiving sooner rather than later, and as soon as we do, we will turn that over.
Sooner than later.
Well, I don't have a date certain, but within the next few weeks.
Okay, I want to do this. We're going to break away from this. I think it's very important that we cover this active shooter situation. I have a link already set up. I'm going to drop it here. I'd like you all to go over there, and let's try to get in on this and figure out what's going on. I want everybody to be safe. So I think it's very important that we get on top of this, this situation in Lewiston, Maine. So I ask you, please click on the link. We're going to transfer over to this stream and start up this stream, the active shooter situation. It's important. I'm going to start that right now. I'm getting some reports coming in. We'll monitor this live and get some information out there for everybody. So please, if you see the link, I'm going to drop it again. Head over to the stream here. We're going to end this and go over to that stream. I'm going to start that up in about 2 minutes. I just want to get a little bit of some more information here, and I will see you over there on that stream because I think it's important that we break from this. It is important. So I'm going to see everybody over there. I'm going to cut out of this one early, and we'll fire that one up in a minute and see what we can do. All right, I'll see you over there in a minute.